Skibbity-boo-bop, ba-doo-boom, ba-dee-bee, skibbity-bee-bee-bee, boom, bitty-bow. Welcome to the Two Tone Podcast. My name is Jalen Kell. Alongside me, as always, we got
Theo.
how you doing this week, kid?
Oh, I'm doing.
That's good. That's good. So as the habit of starting the podcast, I'm gonna ask you what's going on with Channel 6. You still working on that? You pushed it to the side. What you doing? I've heard a couple different things.
Um, I got it read again by Kyle, and he said everything was good. That I just needed to fix like a couple of small things, and then it'll be done.
Just a few timing issues or something, you know.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you heard it here first. It's almost done. Have you been working on anything else recently? You just been kind of focusing your attention on Channel 6.
I mean, I started work on some other stuff, but haven't gotten really deep into them. So.
Right. Well, it's always exciting seeing up and coming creatives make new shit. So I'm excited to see what comes of Channel 6, But if you're not familiar, I have an EP. It's out a few months now, but unfuckswittable on all streaming platforms. Go fuck with it. But yeah, that's pretty much what we got going on creative wise so far. But we got a few topics to talk about. Off the top, off of what are we, 2 minutes in now. I want to say thank y'all to all y'all that are subscribed to the Two Tone channel so far. If you're not, hit subscribe. It's a free way to show us that you appreciate what we're doing, share with your friends, leave a comment, all that wonderfulness. But
we got some exciting stuff coming up on the podcast.
Do we really?
Can't be talking about it here.
What do you mean we can't talk about
now?
What's the exciting? Pull your microphone away and just tell me. Just pull it like. Oh yes. Yeah, probably in the next couple of weeks we'll have some a very special guest on the Two Tone Podcast. So keep your eyes peeled for that one in a couple of weeks. But if any of y'all know somebody or are somebody that wants to be part of a production crew or actor or anything behind the scenes or in front of the camera, with TT's short that's coming up, go ahead and hit him up on Instagram, Glasshouse Films 8 on Instagram. And if you want to go ahead and check out his other work that he's already done, The Night Shift, right?
Yeah.
Okay, The Night Shift on YouTube, youtube.com/@glasshousefilms8. So go check them out. We appreciate y'all. But we got a few topics for y'all today and a few little surprises for you throughout the podcast if you stay long enough. So let's get on into it. All right, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Two Tone Podcast. As we were talking about Channel 6 and The Night Shift, seeing as both of those are leaning more towards the horror genre, I wanted to talk a little bit about A24's new horror movie. Have you seen the trailer for it yet?
I haven't seen the trailer, but I've seen commercials and stuff for it.
It looks really fucking good. I'm usually not one for a horror movie, I like my poop to stay inside me until I decide when it comes out. But But it looks really fucking interesting. I'm really excited to see what they do with it. Do you know much of A24's work?
They I know that they did a lot of like the Ronald McDonald skits and stuff back in the day.
Like for commercial?
No, like the skits that you find on YouTube and shit.
Oh,
And it's like the guys that dress up as like Ronald McDonald and
I don't know
mess
nothing about
around
that.
and destroy stuff and all that.
I believe you, but I don't know nothing about it.
I'm pretty sure that was them. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. But have you seen many of their movies? A24's.
Probably. I don't remember.
They did. Oh Lord, it's gonna fucking kill me. And Kyle's just screaming at the screen. You know, bam, bam, bam. Just they did. Was that movie that Jonah Hill did about mid-90s? They did mid-90s. Oh Lord, it's really gonna annoy the piss out of me. I'm gonna look it up right now. A24 movie.
By the way, you can see what he's typing, so just look there and those are all the
Ex
movies.
Machina, Moonlight, Lady Bird. Lady Bird's really fucking good.
I don't think I've ever seen
The
Lady Bird.
Lighthouse with William Dafoe and
I heard that one was really good.
I've heard that one's really good too. I want to watch it sometime. Hereditary, Kyle was talking about.
Yeah.
I was to say Kyle put me on to A24. They like the movies that they decide to make are just like so fucking good. They did Uncut Gems. They did The Lobster. That was kind of a popular one. Eighth Grade. That was a good one. Swiss Army Man. You ever see that one? With Daniel Radcliffe.
I don't think I've seen that yet.
Super fucking great movie. Really fucking weird.
I've heard of the name, but I don't
It's a
think
really
I've
weird
seen it.
movie, but it's a really good movie. But yeah, they've done like a whole bunch of really, really fucking interesting movies. I like the style that they go for, you know.
Yeah.
But with this new horror movie, it's kind of like there's like this dead hand. That's
It's like a plaster hand.
yeah. I'm about to say I don't even really know like what happened. Like
I wonder if like everybody on the set of that, because like if you watch the commercials and stuff, there's like names written on it. I wonder if like people on the set just wrote their names on it, or if it was like part of the film. Like
Well, I'm
after you
guessing
do
it's
it, you write your name on it.
I'm guessing it's like it has to do with the movie, you know. But that'd be funny as fuck if it was just like the production crew that was just like, we need some names on it. Tim, Billy, Sally, write your names on it. That'd be hilarious. But I'm pretty sure you would have to do something with the movie, you know.
Probably.
But
yeah.
either way, you know, there's this hand and they like hold on to it, and it's like this portal between like some fictional world and reality, and like you can only do it for so many seconds until you get like sucked into the world, you know. But it looks really fucking cool. Really interested in the concept. But anyways, while we're talking about movies and A24, what's your opinion on Barbie selling more than Oppenheimer opening weekend?
I mean, I kind of understand why, because like teenage girls and like young girls are like, I bet, freaking out about it and shit.
Oh yeah, and it's Margot Robbie, you know.
Yeah.
I saw this one TikTok. It was this chick, and she was like, I don't know if my boyfriend's taking me to see Barbie because he knows I want to see it, or if he just wants to watch Margot Robbie for 2.5 hours. And I was like, oh damn, that's a good point. That's a good point, but that's fried as fuck. But
Barbieheimer.
I've seen all the memes, the going to see Barbie at 7, but
Yeah.
Oppenheimer at 10. Yeah,
I think Kyle and Robbie did that. I think they did like I think they saw Barbie first and then saw Oppenheimer later.
that would be quite the polar opposite double header, but
Yeah.
you know, they're coming out at the same time, so you know, why not? That's funny.
Cillian Murphy is probably like one of my favorite. He's probably like, I wouldn't say he's like top 5 favorite, but he's like at least top 10 favorite actors of mine.
Who is he? I'm gonna say I'm terrible
He's
with names.
Oppenheimer
Oh,
in
okay,
Oppenheimer.
gotcha.
He also plays Thomas Shelby in Peaky Blinders.
I've never seen Peaky Blinders before.
You need to watch it.
I'm gonna say I know you've been telling me I need to watch. Is it a series or is it a movie?
It's a series. They
Gotcha.
came out with the final season, which was season 6. I haven't watched that yet, but I've watched up till that. It's pretty fucking good. Like, if you like the 1920s and you like mafia type films, you should definitely check it out.
I'll have to look into it. You said Peaky Blinders, what it's called?
Yeah.
Interesting. I've heard it's really good, and I say you've told me to watch it a few times. But we have plans to see Oppenheimer on film at the was it the beginning of April or August rather?
The 8th, yeah.
Hell yeah, I'm excited. Down at the State Museum, right?
Yep.
Hell yeah. It'll be I've never really seen a movie on film, I don't think, to my knowledge.
This is my first time watching a movie on film.
It'll be interesting to see, like,
Yeah.
if you can really notice a difference between watching it on film versus digital.
Kyle says you can, like, he says you can see more of the details, like, in the background and stuff, because it's light and not digital.
Right. It'll be. I'm gonna say. I think this is my first experience with a film, like a movie on film as well. But
I mean, I think that's a lie. I think I've seen something on film, but I don't remember it. I was like a 5.
I'm gonna say. I'm
when
sure.
we went to like the art museum and they were like having that show. You were like 14, 15.
Oh, with Labyrinth, the David Bowie movie.
Yeah, and we were all like, it was me, you, Bob, Mom. And
Yeah, I really couldn't
Arthur.
tell you. I don't remember. I'm gonna say. I'm sure I've probably seen something on film before, but I just don't remember that it was on film or was aware that it was on film. Anyways, either way, it'll be interesting to see it, and I'm excited for it. I'm sure I'll see Barbie eventually. It'll come out on a streaming platform somewhere, I'm sure.
Probably.
But anyways, onward and upward on the Two Tone Podcast. What do you want to get into first? Do you want to get into your album or your movie, my album? We can skip it for the moment, get into some topics. What you feeling?
Feel like I got a fucking piece of steel brush in my forehead. What I feel like.
Well, that's not good. What happened?
So I have a Dremel, and when I use the steel brush attachment, the steel bristles like to fly off and just hide for 7 years and then finally stab me.
Yeah, I must say, probably do the steel brush one outside, make your life a little easier.
Yeah.
But, that'd be too smart.
Yeah.
Either way, what you want to talk about? You want to talk about your movie? You want to talk about the album? You want to talk about some topics that I got pulled up?
Let's do the album and the movie.
Okay,
first.
we can get on it too. Which one you want to do? The album first, you said?
Sure, yeah.
All right, fuck it. All right, album of the week is What's Going On from Marvin Gaye. You know much about Marvin Gaye, T?
Yeah. I've listened to some of his music.
I might say his the title track off the album, What's Going On, starts off the album, Mother, there's far too many of you crying. Just fucking a statement piece at the times, in the 70s and stuff. I was reading up on the album as a whole, and this was kind of his first swing at making like a concept album. Like he didn't want to just have an album of just different tracks. He wanted each track to kind of correlate to the other ones, kind of like having an overarching theme of all the songs together. I feel like he did a really good job of that throughout this album. You start off with What's Going On. You go into a whole bunch of ballads and just like old 70s kind of, pop funk kind of esque vibe. And then finish off the album with Inner City Blues. I think that's what it's called. Um. Oh no, that's not good. We'll fix that in a second. But either way, um, Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On." If you haven't heard it, go find it. It's so good. I think I had it on vinyl at one point. I think that was actually the first time I listened to it all the way through. I used to have a record player, and I had it was like one of the first vinyls that I had, like that I had actually bought.
Yeah.
Very, very much worth the listen if you are interested in Marvin Gaye at all.
I got one in my room right now, chilling, and I got like 700 records.
I've noticed that you like to collect the the 45s. Which what's your favorite record that you have, or like give me like three or four records that you found it and you was like, oh shit, they have this on vinyl, let's go.
Um, I can't really remember a lot of them because I haven't really listened to them in a while, but I know I have a Ray Charles one. I have a what's his dick?
The black or white?
White. He's a piano player. He's gay.
Freddie Mercury.
No.
um
Elton John. I have
there
an
you
Elton
go.
John one.
There you go, fuck it up.
And then I have like some jazzy blues ones.
Hell yeah. I might say when I was first collecting 45s and stuff like that, I had
Oh, and then I have an Elvis one too.
oh hell yeah. I might say when I was collecting 45s and stuff, our uncle had gifted me like a whole crate of records that he had in his basement. Like some of them had a little bit of water damage, but most of them were still good to play. So
I also have a lot of bro, I literally just had his name in my head and now I don't even know.
Story of my life, kid.
He's a like famous 1920s musician. He did a bunch of like famous Christmas songs.
Bing Crosby.
Yeah, I have some of his stuff too.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I must say, listening to music on 45s is, I feel like would kind of be the equivalent of watching a movie on film as opposed to listening or watching it on digital.
Yeah.
You don't really
Definitely.
get the you just get like a whole different sound really with records and stuff like that. Have you ever seen those small records that just have one song on each side?
I've seen them. I've never like used them or anything.
I was for 1 year when I was in show choir, like each school that you travel to, you have a little homeroom. Everybody meets in that room, and then you go to the gym or the auditorium or wherever they're holding the event. And one time, the school had decorated our room with a whole bunch of those small records that just had one song on each side. And at the end of it, nobody ended up wanting their records, so I just came home with a stack of, you know, 2-track records. I had like 40 of them. It was ridiculous, but
It's
I ended up.
because like nobody. It's because nobody nowadays has record players.
I literally like just gotten a record player for Christmas too, and I was like, oh hell yeah, I got all these fucking new records I can listen to.
The only problem I have with that, with those type of records, is like how do you play them? Because they're the center of them are so big. It's not like the 45s where it's just like a little pinhole.
So most record players will come with a little attachment. It looks like a little tiny Oreo, and you stick it over the top of the skinny prong that you would use for a 45, and then you can play the record on the singles. You know what I'm saying? The smaller records on there.
Mine didn't come with one.
I would say mine did. I don't know if it comes with every. Well, I don't know if every record player comes with one, but I feel like more often than not, you're gonna find it on there because it was kind of a popular way just to get like a little sample of the album before you buy it, you know. But either way, I ended up finding like a whole bunch of old like '80s pop and kind of like synth kind of music, like Miami Sound Machine and what was some other ones? I don't know. It was like a whole bunch of '80s and '70s kind of stuff. It was really cool, really interesting find in the middle of nowhere, Indiana, during a show choir event. You know. Either way, you want to tell them what the film of the week is, T?
Soul.
Now, what made you choose Soul?
It's a good animated movie.
It is a very good animated movie, and it's Disney, right? Or is it?
I think it's Disney. It's either Disney or Pixar, one of those.
Right, I'm about to say they're damn near one and the same nowadays. But
yeah.
either way, I think it's Pixar. I want to say it is, but either way, I feel like Soul is like one of the better movies that's come out recently. It's kind of gotten slept on. I feel like not many people are like, "Oh shit, Soul was so good." I feel like the message in Soul was like really fucking good. Like it was a really easy way for kids to digest like that kind of like ethereal kind of thinking, you know?
Definitely.
So did you just choose Soul because it was just an animated movie and you was like, we ain't done an animated movie, so
well, I had a couple options, but you decided for me, so
fair enough. What would you say is your favorite Disney / Pixar movie?
Ever?
Yep. I'm gonna hit you with ever. You got 30 seconds on the clock.
Why you gotta hit me with this? Cause like now I can't think of any.
He said, "What? I don't even. What is a movie? I've never heard of anything."
It's just hard to come up with like a movie that you haven't seen in forever. When somebody's like, "What's your favorite ever?" or "What's your favorite film?"
All right, what's your favorite? What's your favorite franchise? Like the Cars franchise, or Toy Story, or you know. I feel like most Disney movies have a sequel or a spinoff.
I got it. The Jungle Book.
Okay. That's a solid pick.
Where necessities,
bro. Take me back, bro. The fucking Jungle Book is a banger. I'll let you have it. I'd probably say the is between like the Lion King series and Cars series for me. Like the Lion King 1.5. Classic.
Never seen the 1.5.
Oh, bro, you got to see 1.5. It's the funniest one.
I stopped
like,
at one.
It's like how Timon and Pumbaa met and all that shit. It's fucking hilarious. But yeah, I'm gonna say most Disney movies you don't really need to see past the first movie, but you know it kind of, it's a nice little add-on if it's all right.
My favorite character from a Disney movie of all time. Olaf.
I knew he was gonna say that. I knew he was gonna say that. If you haven't seen the
shorts,
the Olaf shorts, bruh, they're so fucking funny. What's the one? The Little Mermaid one.
That is an emaciated shrimp.
Papa was an emaciated shrimp. Keep singing.
I got your larynx.
Bruh. Oh, they're so fucking funny. If you haven't seen them, check them out. There's like 5 or 6 of them. There's one for like Moana and I am Moana. Oh, bro. There's one for like Aladdin too. They're so funny. We ain't gonna ruin all the bits in it for you, but if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's so funny. You can go and see Soul on Disney Plus. You can also check out those Olaf shorts on Disney Plus. They're hilarious. Good time for the whole family. Let's get on into the quote of the week before we hop into some topics real quick. All right, so the quote of the week: "Don't wait for inspiration. It comes while one is working." Just little advice for you.
Okay.
Is from Henry Matisse. He's got an E at the end of the name. I don't know if you pronounce it or not. I didn't do too much work. I just kind of Googled a quote. But anyways, this quote kind of spoke to me. I feel like many a times creators have the urge to be like, oh, I'm a creative. I need to go, 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 And then I'm getting to a spot where they're like, I don't know. I couldn't even write down my name if you needed me to, dog. Like there's nothing in my brain going anymore, you know. You just gotta live your life and let the creative juices inspire you instead of trying to inspire the creative juices. But I just thought it was an interesting quote. Like to give y'all something to think about each week. But let's get on into the topics that I have for discussion. We kind of talked about a few of them already, talking about the A24's new horror movie. I don't even remember what it's called, but it looks good as fuck.
Yeah.
And Barbie versus Oppenheimer. We talked about that a little bit. Let's talk about.
Then we still have some from last week.
I don't know. I don't have them handy on me.
Oh.
But if you're still watching the Two Tone podcast, here's your first surprise. That is that's my cat. His name is Lightning, and bro just be falling asleep in the most precarious situations. So I take pictures of him all the time, and if you're hip enough to follow the podcast, there you go, pictures of my cat. Anyways, let's get into some topics I got for discussion. All right. Let's talk a little bit about character building. So in your experience as a writer slash director and stuff, do you enjoy more putting characters into a situation that they have a little bit of say so in, or are you one of the people where it's just like the story is gonna pan out how it's gonna pan out no matter what the character no matter what the character holds true to themselves? Does that make sense at all? I feel like that didn't make sense like at all.
Are you asking if I'm more of like a story writer or more of a character developer? Like,
Right.
as in, like, I make a character and I base the story off of the character, or do I make the story and then base the character off of the story?
Yeah. Do you enjoy more of the character building aspect of writing, or do you more enjoy the scenarios of what's going to happen to the characters? That's what I wanted to ask.
Well, I want to say a little bit of both, because like I'll make a character based on like what I'm thinking, like the character should look like, and then I'll base the story off of that. But then sometimes I'll be writing the story, and then just throw whatever name I think of into the story and make that a character.
Right. So would you say, I'm going to say, the reason I brought it up is because we were the other day, me and Sam were hanging out with Michael and Evan, just talking about what we want to go through with the D&D stuff, and we were bringing up your character and just like how detailed your character is. We noticed that you put a lot of details like into his backstory and into like who he is as a person. It was interesting to me.
Was that the day that he asked me for the background? He messaged me like yesterday or the day before, asking for the background.
It was either yesterday or the day before, but it might have been.
But yeah.
But what's your favorite part about building characters? Like, what do you usually have like a template of what your character, what you think the character is gonna be, or is it just like sitting down and being like, all right, so he's 5'4",
it's more of like what the character is wearing. So like I'll make like the character I had before we started the D&D session, the new one was like he was like the cyborg cowboy that like he was like this badass dude, but he just somehow got his arms ripped off in the past and then got them replaced with cyborg arms. So and like he's just doesn't give a fuck anymore because his arms are gone.
That is a fair enough reason to not give a fuck anymore.
But it's more basically like what the character's wearing then I base what they look like off of that, and then I go into the backstory off of what the character is.
Right.
So like the character that I made for the new D&D session, I made his whole background based off what I made the character look like.
Right. So you just kind of use use his aesthetic to kind of dictate what his background story is, kind of.
Yeah.
Interesting way to think about it. I must say, I feel like whenever I'm building characters, it kind of happens the same way. There's a program, I don't know if you've seen it. Sam uses it all the time for like little figures of
Fireforge or Forge. I know what it is.
Yeah, I must say, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But you can go down to like the fucking nuts and bolts of your minifigure and
what they look like, yeah.
Right, and what they look like and stuff. I feel like it's a lot easier to go from what a character looks like to their backstory as opposed to writing a backstory and then kind of deciding what the character looks like. I feel like that's kind of what it's like with books, You're right. Well,
I mean, sometimes books start out with their backstory.
Right.
But
I'm gonna have to say it's kind of a personal thing, personal preference, I'd guess. Yeah. But speaking of character building and stuff, you excited for the new module of D&D that we're about to get into?
Yeah. I can't wait to see what the whole story is.
I'm about to say Michael was talking about it a little bit. It's like a world that he's built, like his campaign that he's running. They're trying to start running up. And like coincidentally, I'd made a character that like one of the other players had. It's almost like a carbon copy of a character that another player had used earlier in one of his trial runs of it. Yeah. And he was like, my friend had literally made like this exact same character, different name and stats and stuff, but it was like pretty much the same character.
Yeah. I just feel as a person who creates things, I'm very comfortable with throwing down like I could literally create a whole like D&D story.
I'm about to say I've always been a person that loves to write fiction and stuff like that. Like I used to write like little short stories and shit as a kid. And I was thinking about it earlier.
Got any of those?
Do what?
Got any of those?
Oh no, I couldn't tell you what happened to them. They probably got thrown away a long time ago. But Sam has been working on trying to come up with a campaign that they'd like to run.
Yeah.
And we've just been talking about it pretty much. And it's really interesting just to see like the way that somebody else will think about a scenario. They had this scenario, or you could have a scenario where you go into the cave and somebody else is like, there's a monster in the cave, and it's just like, nah, everybody thinks there's a monster in the cave, but it's just dark and they just walk through it, and you can take psychological hit points or some shit.
Yeah,
it'd be wild. I'm not really too versed in the entire rules of D&D and all that, but
I feel like if I became a dungeon master, I'd be that dungeon master that like creates like a whole miniature of the because I need a physical copy.
Oh yeah, it definitely helps to be able to see what you're
So I feel like I'd just make like a whole miniature set of like this giant ass fucking board of just what the world looks like and
That'd be cool as
all
fuck,
that.
honestly. You get like a little one of those little trifold poster board type shits.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. I have a little figurines you could put everywhere and shit. That'd be sick as fuck, honestly.
It would take years though.
Oh yeah, it would take forever. It would take
To
all
build.
the time ever.
Probably not years, but it would take a long time to build.
Definitely a couple months.
Yeah.
All right, let's hop into another topic of discussion we got. I want to talk about through lines and creativity. You know what a through line is?
No idea what that is.
All right, so like say kind of is I'm gonna use Wes Anderson as an example. We've used him as an example of this on the podcast before. Just like how everything he makes is symmetrical, you know, everything he makes has a very specific color scheme, you know.
So
Just kind of like almost not really like a not really like a trademark of a movie, but like having characters that having very similar characters appear throughout different movies, you know, like we were talking about the other day with Evan's character. His character's name is oh lord.
Timber.
Yeah, it's something Timber.
Timber McBark.
Yeah, it's Timber McBark. His name is Timber McBark. That's his character's name in the D&D session that we're creating.
I think it's Bark. Is it just Bark or is it like Barky or Bark?
It's Bark with the E at the end, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, his character is Timber McBark, and he says, "You can call me Tim." And in the last D&D thing that we had, the Harry Potter one, his character's name was Jofin, but you can call him Joe. You know, like his character in each one, you know, has a full name, but you know, the character says, "You can call me," you know, by a short name, and that would be like Evan's through line in each campaign. You know, each of his characters has like a little nickname that they go by instead of their actual name. But speaking of that, in creativity, do you intend to be a director, you know, where people are like, "Oh shit, that's a Theo Kale movie," you know? There's just like little idiosyncrasies throughout the movie or in the music that you can be like, "Oh shit, that's a Glass House Films right there."
I mean, I would like to be that type of director, but I don't know like what I would start. Like I don't know what it would be.
I totally get that. I feel like it's very hard for especially a director to kind of find like their thing, you know. Like Tarantino's got like kind of all over the place direction, not really all over the place direction, but you know, like the story kind of hops around a little bit. So, you know, if the story's hopping around, you're like, "Oh shit, did Tarantino direct this?" And you know, 9 times out of 10 he did. And then, you know, with Scorsese, as we were talking about, his color schemes and the symmetry, you know.
But it's just like directors, they do so many different genres that it would be difficult to put a through line in every single one. I mean, like Tim Burton, you can tell it's a Tim Burton film just because of like how the buildings look.
And right, like, just like the set of the movie almost.
Yeah. But like he goes through so many different things. Like he's done like love stories, he's done like goofy animation stories, he's done like I wouldn't really call them horror, but comedy horror.
Right.
Like Beetlejuice and stuff like that. But he puts a through line in all of them, which is surprising because like I feel like that'd be hard to do.
Right. It definitely is hard to do the further away you get from the genre that you like most like creating. I can see where it would be very difficult, especially in your case, you know, like you have 2 horror movies, well, a horror movie and then, you know, you got a horror movie in the works.
Yeah.
If you were to go and write like a love story, it'd be hard for you to kind of put something in there that could correlate it to the other ones, you know, whether it be like the style of shooting that you use or whether it be like a character you put in there.
What my through line will be every movie's a dream.
Oh. You just ruined the end of every movie that you're ever going to create now.
But yeah, I feel like it's going to be it'd be hard. I mean, like, I don't feel like I'm gonna start out putting it like with the through lines and stuff, but like once I get my foot in the door, I feel like I'm gonna try and start figuring that out.
Right, just kind
Because
of
like
get. Go ahead.
because like starting out, barely anybody watches anything. But what I got okay, I just got an idea. So whatever film that I make that becomes big and builds me is and whatever's in that film, like I'm gonna go through that whole film and I'm just gonna see what what idiosyncrasies I can find that I could put into the next films that I do. And
That could
that'd
be
my
very
through
interesting.
line.
That could be interesting,
Because
just
like
kind of leave it to chance what it becomes,
yeah.
Very interesting.
Because like I have as of right now I have no idea what my through line would be.
Right. Oh, talking about writing a love story. Writing a love story. What did you think of that idea that I gave you the other day for a love story?
It was a good idea. I just don't know how I would pan it out because I feel like there's a lot of cliches in that.
I get that. I feel like a lot of times in love stories, it is about the cliches. Like
Yeah.
if if somebody ends up breaking up, they're in the car singing, where are you? And I'm so sorry. Just being emo as fucking shit. But
I don't want to be that director though that writes cliches into every film that he does because I feel like cliches are just. I feel like nobody cares about a cliche because it's just a cliche. It's been seen before. It's been done before.
yeah, I totally get that. I feel like especially one of the things with being a creative, like as time goes on, people create more shit, and then, eventually somebody's gonna do something that is relatively close to what you were doing. A lot of times, especially like in comedy, for an example, a lot of times people have a joke. And then, there's some dude off stage. It's like, oh my God, I was thinking about that literally yesterday, But
Like I just like today, I had literally had a whole cliche film in my head. So I was listening to the music that I listen to. It's very different. Let's say very weird core.
right.
And it was like this. I was listening to like this vampire masquerade. The name of the song was like Vampire Masquerade or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And so I had this idea that there's this vampire that lives up in this castle all by himself. And so one day he decides to go into the city and try and become friends with people and be like try and hide his identity as a vampire, but somebody figures out that he's a vampire, and I feel like that whole movie's a cliche.
Is that a newer movie? Or is it kind of old?
No, it was an idea that I had.
Oh, it's an I'm so fucking sorry. I zoned out there for a second. I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah, I can totally see what you're talking about. Like just not wanting to put cliches into movies because it's been done before. It's like something that it doesn't really draw too much interest. I can totally understand not wanting to kind of move in that direction.
And I feel like it's kind of like Edward Scissorhands-esque because like of how I was thinking about like how this vampire lives up in this castle and he comes down into the city and becomes friends with all these people, but the people don't know that he's a vampire, and somebody figures out that he's a vampire, so they all turn on him and he has to go back up into his castle. That's literally the story of Edward Scissorhands.
It kind of reminds me of an anime I've watched before called Tokyo Ghoul. There's a whole like society of ghouls that fight for the good of humanity and stuff,
Yeah.
And they own this coffee shop so they can blend into regular society and stuff, but they can't eat human food because it tastes disgusting, because they're ghouls. They have to feed on human flesh.
Yeah.
And they can only drink coffee and eat human flesh, so they open a coffee shop to kind of like try and blend in with society, and then eventually they get figured out, and it's a whole thing. But it kind of reminds me of that storyline in Tokyo Ghoul.
And I feel like that's storylines have been used so many times that I feel like it would just be another cliche of a film. But
Yeah, I totally get the what's it called? The deterrent from putting cliches in movies and stuff, but
and
I
like
feel like go ahead.
I feel like when I think of any idea, I feel like that idea has already been used before in some
Yeah,
fashion.
I must say a lot of, especially in movies and stuff, like with music, you can kind of get away with using other people's ideas and stuff with sampling and shit like that. But I feel like in movies, a lot of times people are like, "Oh, this is kind of like this other movie, but a little different." Like there's a couple plot points that might be different, but the
Yeah.
overarching story is kind of the same.
Yeah.
But I feel like in the end, the more you branch out, like the variety of movies and stuff that you make, the the more likely you are to run into something that's kind of like that. But I feel like there's a way to either put a spin on the story that's already been done, or you know, not necessarily like rip off the story that's been done, but just kind of put new characters in the same situation. Like how I was talking about forever ago, how like Star Wars is just the same 3 episodes with different characters.
Yeah.
Like there's an orphan that finds great power and then has to fight the dark side and then wins. It happens like the same in episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7, 8, and 9. But the difference in character, it kind of drives the story and gives it relevancy.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one way you could go with looking at writing stories that are similar to something that you've seen before.
True. True that.
All right. If y'all are in the Two Tone Podcast this far, I appreciate y'all. If you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, dog. You're 46 minutes into a video and you ain't even subscribed to the channel. But for all y'all that are still watching, there's Lightning 2.0. Man's just be he just be fucking chilling, dog. You see that face? He don't care about nothing. He don't care about a single thing. Just chilling on the couch. Anyways, let's get on into another topic we had to discuss. Yeah, that's pretty much all that I had to discuss so far. We talked about character building. We talked about Barbie and Oppenheimer. Oh, you want to talk about music videos a little bit? That's something we talked about last week.
Sure.
We didn't really get into too much.
Yeah.
So as we were talking about, you and I have an idea for a music video from a track from Unfuckswittable. It is I have a terrible habit of not knowing what my songs are called, because when I put them in my phone, I don't title them, and then when I put them out, I title them, so I can't remember which one it is.
It's something and then cow in parentheses and
Oh,
boy.
It's Cowboy I Oughta. Yeah, I remember now. But yeah, it's kind of like the Western kind of vibe one. I had this idea where it's like the song is kind of like a call and response thing. It's the same. It starts doom boo doo doom doom boom boo doom, and then does that again, and then call and response. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But I had this idea where it would be like two cowboys, and then they're chasing each other, and then at the end of the song, it switches to this shot of like two like brothers just chasing each other around the yard with little wooden horse and like cowboy hat on and stuff. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, God damn, this is gonna be expensive as fuck.
Because we're going to have to get horses. We're going to have to get.
If y'all know anybody
Training.
with horses that's willing to let me and TT ride them for about 10 minutes, let me know. I would appreciate it so much. If you don't know anybody with horses, find somebody with horses and let me know.
But yeah, we're going to have to pay for that.
I'm about to say, I never really thought about how expensive something could get so quick. We got really lucky being able to film inside of work just for the last one.
Think
didn't
about
have.
fucking that's why all these big ass fucking movies get like a budget of like almost $1 billion.
Oh yeah, they be getting millions and millions and millions of dollars. It's ridiculous how much money. Like when you think of a movie, you're like, oh, they spent 5 million to make it. It is. Excuse me, goddamn.
You don't realize that most of that is going into equipment and shit.
Right, I'm about to say cameras and cables and renting spaces and shit like that. Like when you think about it, it doesn't even seem real that somebody could spend $5 million to make a movie.
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, God damn, this is gonna be quite the undertaking to pursue if I actually want to do this.
We would also need to find two spaces that look similar to each other.
I mean, we ain't gotta have them necessarily similar. I was kind of thinking the first scene would be in like almost kind of like a desert area, and then like the kids like running around the backyard would just be like a typical suburban backyard type deal. But as I was saying, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, God damn, this would be so expensive to do. We could fuck around and sign up for what's it called? Boy Scout camp. You would do the horseback riding.
They'd be like, "You're men. You're both over the age of 20."
You'd be like, y'all are men scouts. This is Boy
Scouts.
Scouts camp, dog. Y'all need to go. That'd be fried as fuck.
Uh,
But anyways, you got anything you want to talk about, TT? I ain't gonna drag you on too much longer. I ain't gonna talk about nonsense if y'all don't want to.
Oh,
Oh, what?
if you like to watch, or since you're a part of this podcast, if you like to watch films and shit, and you would like to see new things, keep posted at Baston Films on YouTube. Some crazy stuff is about to go down.
Has he released his newest one yet? Do you know?
It's coming out August 18th. August, yeah, 18th.
Hell yeah. So he sent it to me a little while ago. It's really fucking good. It's got a couple of cameos from your boy. I'm a movie star. Sorry, No, I'm just joking. There's a little poster of me in one of the characters' rooms, and if you like the song that's over the credits, I did that shit. Appreciate y'all so much. Check it out. Spotify, Apple Music, J.A.K. I like to make it complicated for y'all, but if that's too complicated, linktree.com/JAK Productions. Hit that. It'll take you to all my socials, all my music, all my whatnot. And also, if you're feeling generous, my Venmo's on there, Cash App's on there. It'll go to the podcast production value, getting microphones and cameras and shit. But you got anything you want to promote real quick before I sign off the podcast, T?
Stay posted for my film that I'm about to start shooting.
Channel 6 script coming soon. So
Yeah.
when you're looking for actors for a movie, do you let them read the script first, or do you just kind of be like, oh, if you want to be in it, then come on, we'll find a spot for you,
With the first one, it was the second part that you said.
Right.
I just handed out scripts to people that wanted to be in it. This one, I hope that I can get enough people to do to do like auditions and stuff.
That would be cool.
But I don't know if that's gonna happen because we live in Indiana.
Right. Tis quite hard to find willing actors.
That'll do it for free. Yes.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah, this one I'm hoping we can get auditions for. said parts, but there's already some parts that are already taken. So
Hell yeah. I'm about to say, as I've said before, I'm hella excited to see what comes to be of Channel 6. I'm sure I'll be part of it in some facet. But yeah, if y'all are here 55 minutes into the Two Tone podcast, there's picture number 3 of Lightning. Bro sits like this all of the time. If y'all have a cat that sits like a dog, let me know, because bro will be sitting in the most obscure positions ever. All right, I'm going to stop wasting y'all time. Here's the last picture I got for y'all. I found him like this morning, and bro was just conked out, just straight hitting some Z's, looking right, looking left at the same damn time. Y'all probably can't see that, but bro's eyes were all sorts of fucked up. Anyways,
he said, "What?"
yeah, bro was looking outside and at me at the same time. But anyways, if y'all are subscribed to the Two Tone Podcast, thank you so much. If you're not, hit that subscribe button, and I'll thank you in 5 minutes.
But yeah, just check out Glasshouse Films 8 on YouTube.
You see it scrolling at the bottom.
If you would like an opportunity to be an actor in this new film,
Or actress.
Hit me up at Glasshouse Films 8 on Instagram. Or if you would like to be a part of behind the scenes, helping with setup, teardowns, all that happy jazz, hit me up at Glasshouse Films 8 on Instagram also.
Oh, yeah. Y'all heard it here first. The boy's trying to make a living for himself. Go help him if you can. If you can't, subscribe to his channel, like his video, leave a comment. Tell him that it sucks, boost his ego a little bit, But we appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us on episode 14 of the Two Tone Podcast.
Check out Baston.
Check out Kyle. Check out Evan Hammonds. Check out all the homies. We'll have y'all in the description below.
Yeah.
But from the Two Tone Podcast, we want to say thank y'all. And this has been the Two Tone Podcast.